this side. I can't see. I can't tell. I think it looks okay.
Hey, Zingo.
You can see it.
I got my girl. Oh, keep your head up, boy. There's your clip. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful edition of The Good and Terrible Show. I am your favorite ugly nigga, Travis, and this is...
This is Mickey sitting next to your favorite ugly nigga, Travis.
And today we got another funny episode for y'all. It's actually a really relatable topic. Everybody in the world, not everybody in the world, but everybody all shade in the world that can relate to this.
What's your shade?
My shade is a lovely brown, a little mahogany,
Okay.
a little raw sienna. You know, I had a Crayola box.
You had the 24 pack.
I had, well, yeah. But was that the one with the sharpener?
Yeah, that was a rich kid.
Oh, then I didn't have that. I didn't have the sharpener one. I had the one just under. I was like just enough. They gave me just enough to feel good. But then I didn't have the sharpener, so I still felt jealous of the white kids.
I had Rose Art. The ones with all the wax. The ones with the wax. You had to like...
Yo had the Rosa. That's a step above Lisa Frank.
Hey, listen, man.
You had the dollar store crayons.
Hey, it's hard out here.
So today we're going to do the top 10 movies that every black person needs to know. And today we are snatching black cards. If you don't know these movies or haven't watched these movies,
Go ahead. Just put it in the...
That's where we're taking the black card from. And look at that. Out the window.
It's going.
You can't show up to no cookouts.
Nope.
You can't play spades with us.
Can't make mac and cheese.
You definitely can't get no corner piece.
You can't get the crunchy top.
Can't get the crunchy top. We maybe slide you some after everybody else ate. All right, aunties and uncles, we're going to dive right into this joint. I'm going to say 10. We're going to alternate. Each of us have 10 movies that we've written down that we personally think every black person needs to know. We're going to do something, a little bit different. This is going to show our own perspectives. We're going to alternate. And we're gonna see where we agree, where we disagree. We haven't taken a look at each other's list yet. We wrote them down on separate pieces of paper, covered them up, flipped them upside down.
Don't cheat.
I don't want her face ruining the glimpse of my picture.
My face could never ruin anything.
It's
me.
Yeah, it's you. It's you.
But it's me.
She's working on it. What we gonna do? I'm gonna let you start off first. Give me what's your first.
And this is in no specific order, so it's not like this is the best versus the least. So first would be Life.
Life.
Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Bernie Mac. I'm missing some people. Help me.
No, I mean that's a good start, but
No,
tell us why.
The reason why is because I think that Life was, to me, it's hilarious, but it also had a good backstory to it. If you guys have never seen Life before, the premise is Martin Lawrence is a bank teller. He's about to get married. Sanaa Lathan is another one. Rick James, that popped in my head too. Also in the movie. Martin is a bank teller. He's at a club. This is in the 1920s era. So him and Sanaa Lathan are at dinner. Sanaa Lathan is ready to get married. Martin is kind of like, I don't know. Eddie Murphy's like hustler type dude. He's, in that like street life.
You don't have to tell us the whole background of the movie. Tell us why you picked the movie.
I'm telling you in a little way. Let me warm them up. They haven't seen it. Basically, they end up going together to do a run, and they end up getting locked up, and they end up doing a life sentence. And to me, the reason why it was funny was because it was not even just funny. Over time, you got to see them kind of grow old together. They fought, but they were still tight in it. Had comedy, it had feels in it. It was a good movie.
Cool. So everybody go see Life if you haven't seen Life.
Right now.
Life. She talks about.
You can buy my DVD. I'll give it to you.
She really talks about that movie all the time.
It's one of my favorite
every
movies.
Single day. I'm tired of hearing about Life.
You're never gonna hear about it.
The first movie on my list that I'm picking is the one and only Friday. The original Friday. The Chris Tucker Friday. Not next Friday, not Friday after next, but the original OG 1995 Friday. Ice Cube, Chris Tucker, Bernie Mac also in that movie as well. The reason why I picked this, comedy is personally my favorite genre of movies. And when it comes to specifically black movies, I don't think it gets much better than Friday. It's a completely quotable movie from the beginning to the end. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. There's so many quotes that are still relevant this day. If you say them, people automatically know what movie that you're talking about. And it's really relatable. I mean, it's a story about, just a regular day in the hood, but you didn't have to grow up in the hood to understand the movie, to relate to the movie, right? A lot of people in there, we've met people that are like people in that movie. So, if you grew up in the suburbs, in the hood, and, a rich neighborhood, wherever you grew up, you'll find this funny, and it'll give you some good quality laughter there.
Yeah, I agree. I still love, he doesn't like Friday after next and next Friday.
I never once said that.
He doesn't love it as much as the original Friday.
The original Friday is the best Friday. If anybody tells you otherwise, you don't need that negativity in your life.
But he doesn't feel as much zest. Like Friday After Next was hilarious. Cat Williams?
It was hilarious.
Cat Williams?
But it's not as hilarious as the original Friday.
I don't know. I think it holds up.
Well, you're wrong. So,
well, you know what? Hey, opinions
that's
are like,
why the show is
opinions
called
are like
Good
buttholes.
And Terrible.
Everybody has one. I will go next. My second one is Do the Right Thing.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah. I didn't put that on my list.
You didn't, because you're not me. Do the Right Thing. So, of course, it's directed by Spike Lee, which is one of my favorite directors. Great movie. Spike Lee's in the movie as well too. Had a great story to it. It dealt with racial tension. It dealt with community, but overall, I like it because it's a colorful movie. Like the clothes, the sound of the music, like everything in that movie. Just when I watch a film and I feel like I'm there, that's what makes the film, because you get so engrossed into it where you're like, man, like if you had never been to Brooklyn, New York, you felt like you had been there from watching that film.
Shout out to Brooklyn, by the way.
Shout out to Brooklyn.
The next movie I'm going to talk about is Roots on my list here. And if you haven't seen Roots, it's actually kind of like more of a mini series than a movie, but I put it on there because it needs to be on every list. If you haven't seen Roots, it's basically, the story of how, our ancestors got shipped from Africa on over here. It follows, the story of Kunta Kinte, Chicken George, Kizzy, those characters there. Gives a lot of insight as to, what happened in the days of slavery, which always is an important lessons to see and to be aware of. Non-Black people, I would suggest you watch this movie too, so you can understand a little bit of the Black struggle and what it means, to be Black and to have that history in America. And it's just a really, really powerful message. It's really long, so you don't expect to finish it in one sitting. You might have to finish it in parts. But definitely go watch that.
Yeah. I've never seen all the Roots before. I know. And my mom's going to watch this and be like, what? Yeah. Go ahead and say, you going to throw it away? Can I earn it back? Can I do some community service to earn it back?
Niggas.
Okay, my next one is Coming to America. So Coming to America, it actually came out the year I was born, which is why I love it, of course, because 1988 was a great year. Thus, what you have. Again, another Eddie Murphy film. Eddie Murphy is one of the GOATs to me. The film itself, between the set, the costumes, the jokes, the one-liners, again, it was a moment in time, but you can watch Coming to America now and still laugh as much as you did before. Eddie Murphy, of course, did multiple characters. And that was wasn't that one of the first times that someone did, because he was,
he did do a lot of characters.
But I think that was one of the first times, especially in that era, where someone was acting as one part, a main character, and then had other characters.
I'd have to check.
And
that.
I can think of,
yeah. But little known fact, or maybe not little known fact, but in case you weren't aware, that movie is actually where we got the inspiration for title of our show.
Yeah.
Good and Terrible with Randy Watson. when
the great Randy Watson.
The great Randy Watson.
Shout out to Randy
legendary.
Watson.
I don't know if anybody's ever not seen that movie, but there's a scene in the movie where he goes up and he's singing at this event. What was the event?
It was the Black Awareness Rally.
Thank you, the Black Awareness Rally.
Mm-hmm.
He's singing at the event on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, they talking about when he leaves, oh, that boy good. And then,
well, no, it wasn't Eddie Murphy and Arsenio. It was the Barbers. Because Eddie Murphy and
one of them was played by Arsenio.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like their real characters, like Akeem and... Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
See.
No, I was trying to help because it was like, no, it wasn't. Okay, go ahead.
Disappointing me today.
I thought I was helping.
That boy good. Yeah, good and terrible.
Good and terrible. Yeah, when we came across that, we were like, we did the movie
that's the title of the show. The next movie I'm going to say on my list is The Lion King.
Okay.
The Lion King. Shout out to all my Disney fans out there. The reason why I picked this is because I feel like this is the moment that Black people really got something we can be proud of on the Disney stage. Because it was the first time that Africa was really featured in a Disney movie. It had authentic African music in there. They had brought, people from Africa as part of the movie. They recently did a remake that has Childish Gambino and Beyonce in it as well. James Earl Jones is a legend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
There's nobody else that could be Mufasa other than James Earl Jones.
That's it. Mufasa is the best. The opening of The Lion King is the greatest Disney song that's ever been created. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the movie. As soon as you hear that, you see that little sunrise song, whatever the hell they say. It is the greatest song Disney has ever made. The soundtrack is flawless. It's a great story.
And it's funny.
It's the first time, I believe, they actually showed a death of a protagonist in a Disney movie. You might want to fact check that, but I think that's true. When Mufasa died, that's for every 90s kid, that is a traumatic moment in our life.
I think you're right. Because no other Disney movie that I could think of that happened, even now. Well, maybe now, but I mean like in our era, like our childhood.
I don't think so.
But yeah, every time I cry, I'm not ashamed to say this. I still cry every time I watch them. Like in that scene, I still get choked up.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm back.
Interesting.
You don't get emotional?
A little bit.
I cry every time. I don't care where I am. I'm
a grown man now. I'm not.
You can still cry.
All right. What's the next movie on your list?
The next movie on my list would be The Color Purple.
Oh, that's on mine.
The Color Purple. I didn't see the movie until probably was like late teens, I believe. My mother had the book. Hi, mommy. My mother had the book. And I never read it, but I remember seeing it and saw the cover, and I always wondered, like, I wonder what that book's about. But watching the film for the first time, it gave you a lot of emotions. Of course, you had Whoopi Goldberg, you had Danny Glover, Oprah Winfrey as well too. But it dealt with so many things. One thing that I just learned, which it didn't dawn on me then, was that Danny Glover, who played Mr., owned his land. They were landowners. And then, it was almost like unheard of because this was post-slavery. But, owning land even now is something that's really big. But it dealt with, Oprah Winfrey having that incident with the white woman that tried to, was basically trying to buy her. Was she trying to buy her children? What did she say to her? She's like, "Oh, your kids are so clean."
Yeah,
and
I do remember
she said something to that effect. She asked him. She said, "You should work for me," and Oprah Winfrey was like, "Hell no!" And Oprah Winfrey they were kind of like outside in the town, and this is like small town. People started gathering around.
She got beat up.
She got beat up. What happened was when she told the white woman, "Hell no," this white man came and said, "What did you say, gal?" And she said, "Hell no." And I think he slapped her, and and that scene to this day, like, I'm like, no, don't hit him. And Lawrence Fishburne is also in it. It's other cast members as well too, but if you haven't seen it, Lawrence Fishburne tells her, no, and you see her ball her fist up, and she just wham, and she knocks him out.
You know what? That's actually a really good transition. I'm glad you said that. Speaking of Lawrence Fishburne, another acting legend, by the way, who did a great job in that movie. Lawrence Fishburne's actually in the next movie on my list, and that is Boys in the Hood.
Oh.
He actually played the father of Cuba Gooding Jr.
Right.
in the movie. And you know what? I actually picked this movie not for like the standard typical reasons, not because they show it on BET all the time. It's one of them blockbuster movies, and
Yeah.
every time you turn it on, it's on whatever. But I actually picked it because of the lessons that they're teaching. Kind of as like, you know, a secondary part. It's not like the forefront plot of the movie, but there's a lot of subtle lessons in there that are still relevant today that you'll hear in that movie, like about you know, how economics work in the black community, how you have gentrification coming, and how they do that type of system where they come in, buy stuff really cheap, raise the price, and push people out of their own land.
Push black people out.
Push black people out in their own neighborhoods, different things like that. There's a lot of good little tidbits of information in there. If you haven't seen the movie, first of all, give me your black card. Second of all, go watch it so you can get re-invited back to the cookout. Because if you haven't seen that movie at this point,
What are you doing? What are you doing with your life?
I don't know if you know how to play spades at that point.
It's like a prerequisite.
It's a prerequisite. Go watch Boys in the Hood, and then go learn how to play spades, or vice versa. But just make sure you do both, or else.
And that cast too, like, young Morris Chestnut, young Ice Cube, young Cooper Gooding Jr., Nia Long, of course Lawrence Fishburne, Angela Bassett, like that cast
There's a
was
lot
like,
of people in that.
but you know, for the young, like Nia Long, Cooper Gooding Jr., Ice Cube, and Morris Chestnut, they were just starting out. Virginia King also as well too.
Directed by the late great John Singleton, rest
Yeah.
in peace.
That
Big
cast,
homie.
that cast was amazing, and that was a big. I think that was a big, you know, a pivotal moment for them in their careers.
It was.
They all went on to do great things. Yeah.
So what's next, man?
I think you had all of them.
Oh, okay.
Because
Cool,
you
yeah.
I had my 5, you had your 5.
Oh, I
You
thought
should
we-
talk about, oh yes, talk
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about that.
Okay,
So I can,
alright.
so I can gloat.
There's a reason why she wants me to talk about this one. The next movie on my list is Remember the Titans.
And what high school did I go to?
I don't know, what high school did you go to, man?
The best high school in the country.
The best high school in the country.
Yes.
That's debatable.
Class of 06. What's up, 06?
Old head.
What's up? Hey, I'm seasoned, baby.
The reason why she's so hyped right now is because the high school she went to is actually the high school that's in this movie. And that's T.C. Williams High School, which is out in Virginia.
Alexandria, Virginia, to be exact.
Alexandria,
703.
Virginia. Is that supposed to mean something?
It does.
Don't kiss
the
the
people
camera.
because I'm blowing a kiss, that's where I'm from.
Don't nobody want your kiss in the camera.
Hey. You can wipe the camera off. Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry about
Get a
that.
sexual harassment claim on the comments.
All
I
right,
did
listen,
not ask for
hey,
this.
Hey, I'm gonna call the Me Too movement.
You
Hey. Remember the Titans. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, the amazing, legendary Denzel Washington
The one and
plays
only.
the head coach as they're integrating T.C. Williams High School. It was a black high school and a white high school in Alexandria, Virginia, that was forced to be integrated by the state. They came together, race relations during the civil rights movement in the late 60s, early 70s. Really hostile time in America, especially in an area like Virginia, which is, the South. It's a little bit, Northern Virginia now is a little bit different now than it was then.
Yeah.
But it's still, back then it was definitely still filled with a lot of tension, as well as I'm sure there is some today still.
It definitely, yeah.
So yeah, it's a really, really great movie. It's based on a true story. They, they kind of fudge a little bit of the truth, but it's based on a true story about having an undefeated football team that was able to unify a city and a nation after the movie came out. Really great one.
Oh, and then something else too. One of the Petey just passed away earlier this year, so rest in peace to Petey. He was what is his name? He's in Scrubs. He played Petey in the movie. I can't recall his name.
Donald Faison.
Yes, he played Petey. So just want to say rest in peace to him as well too.
Rest in peace to him. This movie is one of my personal favorites. The next one that we're gonna talk about is The Temptations. And the reason why I did that, obviously that's a documentary based on the real group, the Temptations, a Motown group in the '60s. I think everybody needs to see this movie. Motown is so quintessentially important in the history of American music and the history of Black music. Almost everything we think of today in terms of music stems from Motown and what they did, what they were able to accomplish, putting Black music in the forefront and in the popularity and the limelight of America with Berry Gordy. And these guys were like the first legends of Motown. And the movie is host to one of my favorite movie lines of all time.
What's that?
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. That is the most shade-filled line in cinema history.
And the way he's like, his tone of voice just like made it like, ooh, it kind of stung a little bit. Like,
it did. Damn. It stung me. And I'm not even Otis.
You were like, on the couch.
My chest, my neck, and my back. We got a couple movies. The next movie I'm going to talk about is Lean on Me. And that's starring Morgan Freeman, who's played the head principal of the school. Basically, one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about is like the struggle that a lot of Black kids go through in high school. And this kind of touches on a lot of different issues, teen pregnancy, drug use, home life.
Yeah.
With abusive parents, kids just not applying themselves in school. Financial issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives you a really good insight as to what's going on with a lot of families in the United States, still going on now, and kind of gives you like a blueprint of how certain kids need different care and different attention in order to be successful. It's not that, kids just are bad kids. Sometimes they really just need somebody who's really going to care about them. And I think that's a really important movie there. And the last movie on my list is This Christmas.
Oh.
A little off the wall. It's a more recent movie than a lot of the ones that we've talked about.
Yeah.
But, the reason why I did that is because, and similar to, I could have swapped out This Christmas and put like Soul Food on here or, a couple of other movies like that. And the reason why is because I feel like the Black family is the central point of the movie and how important the Black family is. A lot of times in movies and even in reality, you see a lot of Black families that are just, disgruntled, disjointed. The mother's here, the father's here, they're not together, whatever. We need to have more movies where you see, Black families come together in unison and show what kind of power that the Black family can have together.
Yeah, I agree. I also, I didn't think of Soul Food. I'm kind of mad I didn't even think about that. That was a great movie.
It was.
But I think all your choices were pretty pivotal. I would never have thought of This Christmas. That would never cross my mind. Never would have crossed my mind. Of course, Idris Elba and Chris Brown are in it.
Yes, ladies. Chris Brown, Idris Elba. A few other folks. Columbus Short, whatever. For the guys, listen.
David Banner.
There's a scene in there with Regina King.
Oh, Lord.
Watch that
tell
movie.
Tell them the timestamp. 38 minutes, 49 seconds in.
Go watch that movie if you haven't seen it, and you will come back and thank me. And listen, guys.
You're welcome.
These are just our movies here, but listen, there is a lot more that we could have named. There's a ton on the list that we could have named, but obviously we ain't going to have time for all that. But listen, if you think that there's a movie that we left out and you think that it should be on this list, feel free to comment below in the video beneath there where she's pointing and tell us what that movie is and why you think that movie should be there. There's no wrong or right answers. Well, there could be some wrong answers, but
it's all opinion based, so it's like
it's opinion based, but sometimes opinions are bad too. But anyway, let us know what movies we forgot. We wanted to keep it as short as possible and give us a reason why. We'll comment back. Maybe even give you a little shout out or something in the next video. Since
y'all didn't choose blue cheese last time, y'all could at least come to my,
Because ranch is better.
We're not going to do this.
Because ranch is better.
We're not going to carry this
Thank you, everybody who watched the last video and supported my decisions.
My own friends and family.
Because ranch is clearly better than blue cheese. Because you seem to be the less intelligent one in
You
your
think
family.
you can do this to me?
Even your whole family, even your family,
My
is
family,
agreeing with me.
my friends. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'll get the next one.
Well, thank you guys for watching. This has been another rendition of the Good and Terrible Show. She is
Good.
and I am
Terrible.
Bye.
Bye.
That's your good, ain't it?